It's already becoming chilly.
Better speed up. Maybe it's a time to do some experimenting. What do you guys know? What do you guys think?
Welcome back to drybonesgarage. This episode is a part of the series where me and my dad take a 63 Corvair and a G-body frame and combine them together to create a hot rod. In this episode we work on the HVAC some more, as well as discuss some options for the seats. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and I'll see you at the end of the episode. Okay, so in order to improve airflow in this area, I'm going to take some fiberglass, cut it about that large, and I'm going to use this as the mold. Use this curved shape so it'll move the air like so, kind of, I think. So I found these pieces in a box somewhere, and they're generally about the size we need, so I'm just going to lay them over this thing.
So you're going to lay it up, right?
Yeah, I don't know how to mix this stuff, or how to...
That's fine, I can help you with that.
Okay. You've never actually shown me how to do it before. Probably because I haven't asked, but now I'm asking, I guess.
There's a ratio, but we're kind of ignoring it. Hopefully that'll be more than you need, but not by a huge amount. The first few layups we did, I was trying to be a lot more precise with this stuff. Then I figured out this works a lot like Bondo. There's not a lot in there, so that should be plenty enough. And then you work that with the brush. Is that both the layers on there already?
I put 2 of them on. I don't know if that was a good idea or not.
No. What you're going to want to do is get that goop on there and then turn that over and lay that against the plastic that's on that bottle. That's probably plenty. Okay, now if you can separate that top layer from the lower.
Yes,
there
I
you
can.
go. Oh, you got pretty good penetration on that. Clean that area up. Kind of get more in there. And that is on the plastic, right? Not the bottle itself.
I believe so.
I hope so. We're going to have a hard time getting that off of there.
If it's on the bottle.
Yeah. Okay. Lay your second piece in there. Wasn't expecting you to jump in like that on this.
I have nothing else to do. It's already becoming chilly.
Yeah, I mixed it kind of hot. Better speed up.
Not very fast.
Why not?
I've never been fast.
I know. Why not?
Because I'm not my sister. She's faster than me.
All right, I think that's good. Let me steal that brush from you while this stuff is still malleable. I want to get this in an area that I want sealed up.
This is not a good
Angle?
Not good lighting anyways.
No, I wasn't necessarily intending to do this just yet, but as long as we've got the stuff, might as well use it.
Is there supposed to be a gap there?
No, we need to fill that in. This was anchored against the heater core, and then that was just what it was. I had put that other stuff in there and I mixed it heavy, but I thought still liquidy, so it would fill those gaps like it did here. And I don't know where else I can use this snot right now.
Has somebody else done this before?
I haven't seen anybody do this, but it wouldn't surprise me a lick if somebody hasn't, unless this is just that butcher. We might be total hacks on this one.
It turns out that I didn't mix the epoxy well enough, so the piece dried inconsistently.
think it's a good one, but I think we have a plan. We still have to get one of these down in here. We're going to be punching a hole through this and boring a chunk out of that yet. But I think the only way we're going to get to that point is actually putting this in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're actually going to end up glazing this and that. We're just closing this off and that. Let that set up, and then we'll rotate it over and then start trying to work it for airflow rather than just having it pieced together. And then we'll figure out where that box is going to land on this, where we need to get our attachment points. I guess we'll call this in our air handler. We need one of these here, and we're going to need one in the car back here. And I think we're going to have to put another one over here someplace. One over here we're going to have to actually run into the car and then get a long bolt to kind of sandwich through, because I overlooked that when we were putting it together. So we're going to have to relieve one of these corners a little bit more than it already is. I think it's up here. Anyways, there's a couple more of these that need to go in. I think our best bet for right now is just to attach this edge and this edge. It's going to be ugly, but we can pretty it up once we've actually got it together. I think that's what we're up against. So yeah, that motor might be moderately invasive, but I think that's going to be the worst of it. You know, how many people actually are always putting their feet up in there anyways. But I think that's probably what we're going to end up with, or something very close to it. It's about that. But we've got to work the mounts out for that motor, which is probably going to be my next project, I think. And then once we've got that done, we can actually mount that in, build our baffle, and then finish out whatever flares or fares we need to kind of direct the air to the heater core. And we'll put a mount up here and a couple over there, and a couple down at the bottom to actually attach everything together, and a little bit more rigidly bonded to the firewall of the car. So that, I think, should be a reasonable response to your need for heat, I think.
Huzzah.
Huzzah. Test 1 and 2. So the pieces are starting to fit a little closer together. We're getting most of the assemblies or sub-assemblies or whatever you would call the shapes we need in here, bit by bit, piece by piece. Squirrel cage, I put a little high inside the box to give more room to the passenger footwell. Created a certain amount of interference within the body of the car. I've got that worked out, I think. Now we're just kind of trying to line out what's going to be a bottom. We'll just take a flat piece of precast or pre-made glass and then literally epoxy it in, and then close up all the seams and whatnot at that point in time. Dress it up, finish it up. Hopefully we'll be able to mount it to the car and yeah, start moving forward with the wiper arms, get the wiring in the car. I wanted a mechanical clutch. We're not going to be able to do that. I've got pieces and parts for a hydraulic, or the beginnings. We still need to come up with plumbing, and I've got to figure out how to make a remote reservoir for the cylinder I'm using. This package that we're putting in Amanda's car came out of an '86 Supra that I was working on some 15 years ago, I think. And I was using the assembly off of that, which worked. So I'm trying to recreate that in this car now for lack of space. We'll show you that at a later point in time in a different episode, but that is coming. We'll have to figure out how that works and make that all play nice within the car. But yeah, keep it on. that's gonna go away. Do we really need any of this? We might be better off just doing that with some putty.
So a whole lot of this didn't get on camera, right?
I don't know how much of this did or didn't, actually. This was kind of, I was poking at this in between other crap we were doing with the hood or whatever, just trying to get this thing assembled. And we had, I don't know, we were working on the hood, we were working on something else. And then I was doing this in the interim, or not the interim, but in the in-betweens, I guess you would say. There it is. I would have preferred to use bigger fasteners for this.
What else did you do? Or is that it?
I've been refining the shape. I don't know if the shape is right, but we kind of reworked this whole squirrel cage, tucked it up much higher, and in the process had it interfere with the firewall or the air ducting inside the car, the cold air or cool air, fresh air ducting to the kick panels. So we've made some modifications to that. You'll see me welding that up at some point in time here in the near future. Been blending this out a little bit. Still needs a little bit more work. I almost feel like we should bring something across here just to avoid that dead air pocket, but positive pressure is positive pressure. It's gonna push out, so yeah. I think we'll leave that alone. There's just a lot of prettying up, cleaning up to do. I don't know why this happened, but we're gonna have to cut this, relieve some tension on it, and then pretty much just plate the bottom of this, work the seams a little bit for flow, and she's 90% there.
Yahoo!
Yay. I think if we narrowed these up about 2 inches, maybe 3, you know, just literally section a couple inches out of the center of these things, we'd have to do some measuring. Obviously the tracks aren't gonna work anymore, but we've already got these seat frames. We already know that we're gonna have to reupholster something, regardless. But, you know, if we shorten them, the actual bottom by about 2 or 3 inches, I mean, we'd be sitting and narrowed them up. We've got these seat frames. Now, we've never done upholstery. We don't know our butts from a hole in the ground with that, but we haven't done a lot of the stuff that we've done with this car. Yeah. Maybe it's a time to do some experimenting. I don't know. I looked on eBay and these seats for these Corvairs aren't cheap. I don't know if that's because people are just ridiculous or if we'd actually be cutting up history to do that.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody else can utilize these things, maybe we should sit on them and sell them when we're done, or, you know, we can go the other way. But that said, you know, we'd have to bring this, the actual pan down to about here. So we're looking at probably, rather than having the springs, is actually utilizing foam and then building an uptick in the seats. I've been watching some of the upholsterers on YouTube, and I mean, it's a process, but it looks like something that could be done. And then we have at least something of the original car in here. So I don't know what your thoughts are. And again, you know, we've got a lot of people giving us good input. Maybe we should start involving them in some of the decisions that we're making, you know, giving them an advance. Hey, we're thinking about this. What do you guys know? What do you guys think? But I'm thinking probably at this point in time, a red duck twill.
What's a twill?
It's, you know those carpenter pants? No, this fabric here.
Yeah.
You know, it's durable. I think it's color fast.
Color fast?
Yeah, it's strong material. It's reasonably comfortable.
Yeah.
It's cleanable. The colors shouldn't wash out of it. At least I've never had a problem with the stuff bleaching. And then get some red vinyl. We've got the sewing machine. I actually need to modify that one old coffee table we got into something that we can use to actually start doing some upholstery level sewing with it. And you've done a little bit, I've done a little bit. I think your sister's done some. It isn't like we don't know how to operate a machine, we just never attempted to do anything like this. So it may turn out an absolute crap show, or we might get lucky and actually come up with something that really looks good. I don't know. But I figured red vinyl, and then the seating surfaces could be this. And yeah, just do some heavy modification to the frames we've got, rather than shopping around. I was trying to price out some Camaro seats. Actually, they're marginally less expensive than Corvair seats. But I think if we narrow these up, I doubt anybody would actually notice necessarily that we had done anything. You know, if you're not a Corvair person, you're gonna look at it, cool old car. At least that's the hope. Now, a Corvair person's gonna come up and like, man, there ain't nothing about this thing that's right. What's going on here? Though I imagine the hood scoop's gonna be a dead giveaway. Okay, this is a front engine. Somebody did some stuff to this. So yeah, anyways, that's my thought. You know, let me know what you think. Figure we can putt around and try and replicate these patterns and whatnot. If not these medallions necessarily, I don't know how they're actually mounted into the seats, and we're missing a bunch of them on the door cards anyways, so maybe we can pull some from the door cards, use them on the seats. That said, these things get hot in the sun.
Yeah.
If you're wearing a tank top or something that's a little light on the backside, might singe, which is why I'm thinking the duct twill on the seating surfaces instead of vinyl.
I remember a comment saying something like that early on.
Recently had a comment, somebody had suggested, you know, first gen Camaro seats, and I went and I looked them up because they literally first gen Camaro pan.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but for whatever reason, I think it was because I looked up a back seat for a first gen and they wanted almost $1,000 for the frame. I'm like, forget this. You know, this car isn't about how much money we can spend, and we're already throwing a lot of money at it. You know, the idea is actually to come in and fabricate and build and learn and grow, you know, learn how to build a car essentially from the ground up using whatever we've got. That was the concept anyways. You know, that Malibu I bought done. I just powered it, you know. This thing is an opportunity to stretch a little. You know, the idea, I told you that. I wasn't gonna buy you a car, I wasn't gonna buy your sister a car. I'd buy you a project and we could build them so you guys would appreciate what you had and take care of it. Granted, I had never intended a full-on hot rod. I figured we'd go buy like an 80s or 90s Grand Prix or something of the sort with, you know, bad engine or a bad trans or, you know, worn out something. I was never anticipating this.
That's about it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please give us a like, and if you have any thoughts or ideas on the seats or want to say something else, the comment section is always available for you. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you later. Bye.